Hello, good evening, and welcome to this week's FPL Family with me, Lee, and this is Sam. And I'll tell you what, Sam, we definitely didn't plan it this way, guys, but we are both wearing the black version. I've got the black Liverpool shirt on from last season. You've got this season's black Spurs shirt on, and I'll tell you what, guys, it's fairly reflective of our moods, is it not? I mean, it's been a difficult day to be.
Do you know what?
A Liverpool and a Spurs fan. Oh my god, it feels gloomy in here tonight. We're gloomy, are we?
Do you know what though? I
feel gloomy.
I've had such a blimmin' lovely week, and my team flipping ruined it. I was so cross. We got there, and it actually started well. And genuinely, the first half of football, and we'll talk about Spurs more later, I'm sure. But the first half of football, I was like, "This is great. We look great.
In the chat.
Everything's great."
Sorry for your loss.
Oh, now and then we basically died in the second half, and then I thought, "Oh, don't worry. I get in the car, I drive home.
Dear.
Been accidents all over the place on the way home. I missed nearly all of the Liverpool game. Got home to a really grumpy husband.
Oh, I will apologise to you. Oh my god, you got in the door, and I was just like,
I rang him.
"Have you seen this rubbish?"
I rang him because
rubbish.
we're having a bit of building work done outside, so I couldn't get in the front door. I had to ring him and ask him to let me in the side gate because I hadn't taken my keys.
I think I answered the phone. I was like, "What?"
You were like, "What do you want?" I was like, "I'm outside. Could you let me in? It's raining." He was like, "Oh, come in." He comes round, opens the door. I'm like, "How's the Liverpool game going?" "Oh, whoa, don't
I am
ask."
such a miserable bastard when Liverpool lose.
Liverpool
Honestly,
are the thing that affects your mood more than anything else.
Oh my god,
in the world,
I didn't
I've
realise
noticed.
it for the last sort of 2 or 3 seasons because we've been good, but for the last couple of weeks.
And you wonder why last season, when you constantly dag at me about Ange, I kept biting at you. Now, Bonfield, you're getting to experience what it's like.
I'm getting to experience what it's like being a crap team because at the minute,
Whoa.
we are a crap team. There's no, we are. God, we're going to get into this, guys.
Well, I tried to fix your mood at least.
We are so much wrong with that team at the minute.
Oh dear,
so much wrong, and we're going to get into that
but we
in a minute.
Before we get to that though, Lee, we have actually had a nice week. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody because a lot of these people that are in the chat today are also in our Slack channel or reached out to me on Instagram. To say happy birthday. So thank you very much to everybody who reached out and wished me a happy birthday this week. As I said, it was very great. It was a great week. I've had a lovely week of celebrations until Spurs today. But we're not letting them.
We're not letting
them
despite
put a dampener
black
on it.
Shirts.
Do you know what I forgot to do?
Go on.
So I did 2 Patreon calls this week. So one of the things you get if you are a Zoom tier Patreon member is 2 or 4 if you go all in Patreon calls over the course of a season with either Lee or Rye or a mix of the both, however you want to do it. And I had 2 this week, one with Duncan, who probably is in, and one with George, who is almost certainly in.
Oh yes, of course.
And I was telling them the story, Lee, about my birthday cake from Wednesday and how you bought a cake and then you got a bit stressed and worried about it, so then you bought another cake.
Yes.
And
why are you telling about that?
Because
should these Zooms not be about just to sell the patron to people? Should these Zooms not be about FPL content?
Oh yeah, they are.
Not birthday cake.
But when we started, so I did them both on Thursday, so it had just been my birthday. So they obviously wished me a happy birthday, and we were talking about it. And I said, "Oh, so I've got this Colin the Caterpillar cake. It's not been eaten there." And they said, "You know what you should do? You should have it on the stream. That'd be a great way to..."
Sure, there's people globally all over the world now going, "What the hell is a Colin the Caterpillar cake?"
Oh, for those of you that don't know, Colin is a cake you can buy in the UK. Google Colin the Caterpillar cake and you'll see him. He's great. He is a must-have for kids' birthdays.
Marks and Spencers.
Other Collins are available. Other
they're not,
Caterpillars are available.
No, they're not.
No, there are.
You're incorrect.
There's
only one Colin.
There's only one Colin. There are other Caterpillars available. They're not as good. I'm just saying. Colin is the goat.
Why are we doing this again?
Anyway, because they suggested I bought Colin to the live stream and we had a birthday cake on the stream, and I meant to go and get him, but he's still in our bedroom.
Oh, what's he doing out there?
Well, you put him on our bed, remember?
Oh, okay. Well, listen, for one thing's for sure, I don't want to talk about any football tonight. So if you want to talk about Colin the Caterpillar cakes and Marks and Spencer's all night, that is fine.
I was going to go. I meant to bring him down
fine.
so we could have a Colin. I thought we could have a bit of cake on the stream.
Joseph Murray saying, "Go get him, Sam. Go and get him." No, we're not.
No,
we're not.
I can't go up there and get him now.
Chatterbox is saying Colin is the GOAT. So there are a few people that are in tonight that know what you're talking
People
about
do
with
know
Colin the Caterpillar.
I'm pretty sure that Colin the Caterpillar is like a global thing.
No, it's not.
People know.
No, it's not.
There's M&S's all over the world.
If you're get in the chat right now or get in the comments of the YouTube video and just go, and just put, don't know. Just put, I have no idea what you're talking
Colin
about.
Who?
Sam.
Put Colin Who
Colin
if you don't
Who.
know.
Yeah.
But I think, there are, and we know go around the world, there's other M&S's in other parts of the world, and I'm sure Colin goes there. Maybe I'm wrong.
Matthew Knights, get the Colin. George is in. Colin is global. You're right. It's just like...
I'm just saying.
Patronus can't beat a Colin. Yeah. Anyway, the point of all of that nonsense was that, yes, it has been your birthday week. Yeah. It was your birthday on Wednesday. We've had a brilliant week of celebrations. It's been fantastic. We've done all sorts of stuff with the kids. We had a brilliant day on Wednesday for your birthday. We had a party on Friday night. It's been a great week. And then bloody 2-1 defeats at home for Spurs and Liverpool. And you went, right? So you went to Spurs today. So we'll talk about that in a minute as well. And I sat here and watched the guff that was at my team against Manchester United earlier on. But before we talk about all those games, and guys, if you are new to FPL Family, welcome along to the live stream. You probably tuned out by now because all we've talked about is Colin the Caterpillar Cakes and how crap our teams are. But if you are new around here, then we'd love you to subscribe if you're interested in any more Colin the Caterpillar Cake talk. We will talk about all the action that we've seen over the course of the weekend. We will talk about our teams. We'll talk about what we're thinking about for next week as well, Gameweek 9. Soon to be on the horizon. I, for one, am thinking about playing a chip next week. I don't know whether you are as well, but I'm thinking about the bench boost for next week. So we'll talk about bus teams and how they are looking ahead of Gameweek 9 and a potential bench boost for me. I've also got 1.6 million in the bank and I got 3 free transfers and I've already done one.
Sorry, what now?
I've already done one. It's very knee-jerky and I shouldn't have done it. And as soon as I did it, I regretted it. But I was like, this is just... I'm if it wasn't Liverpool bad enough, my FPL
wait,
just as bad.
Hang on, stop.
What?
You've made a transfer already?
Yes. It's not in the graphics because I didn't tell you about it.
Right.
So you've done a load of graphics, so I appreciate that. And
so when I got back from Spurs and I rushed in and I made graphics, you thought I just tell her the wrong team.
Sort of.
Wow.
There are changes that are not in the graphics.
I think I'm going to get Colin.
That is Colin already.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that later, but you've regret it already?
Yeah, because I did it in just like a fit of rage. Like I was
during the Liverpool game?
During your game. I was so bored of my players not getting any point, just like no points. I got to the end of it, I was just like, Spurs fixtures look difficult.
Hang on a minute, wait, stop it.
And
Have you sold Mickey van der Ven?
I've done Van der Ven to Gabriel. I've done it. I've just done it. I just can't be bothered. I can't watch Gabriel getting double-digit hauls every week and Van der Ven getting zeros every week. I just can't do it anymore, so I've sold him. And now I've got 0.0 in the bank. So if there was going to be any price changes, I was priced out of it, so I've done it. What? He's gone. Van der Ven is gone. Don't at me. I'm just not interested. Why are you looking so like that? As if he's done anything to suggest that he'd be worthy of keeping in your FPL team right now.
Because you've got worse defenders than Mickey van der Ven in your team.
Probably, yeah.
So why would you rage transfer out one that's not that bad?
Not that bad.
You could have got rid of Goodmanson, who's way worse.
No, I couldn't. I haven't got because if you'd listened, I got the exact money. So Goodmanson
didn't have to get Gabriel, did you? Could have got Timber. No. Wait, hang on.
No. Well, Goodmanson's got a good fixture next week. I want him on the bench boost. What?
Oh, you only had 2 Arsenal players, did you?
Yeah. Well, I've now got 3.
But I thought you didn't like the one you got.
Well, don't. We'll come to that in a minute. But yeah, anyway, that's done. Van der Ven to Gabriel's done. Gabriel's just like, I just think he's too good.
I don't think I want to make your graphics anymore. I only like making yours because Mickey was on them.
I've done it anyway. He's gone. Can't do it. As soon as he got that booking, I was like, you're cooked, mate. You're done. I've had enough. Right, let's say hello to a few people, Sam, before we get on with any of that stuff. Any Kaz is in. Very nice to see. Why has everyone's handles are in the chat tonight? What is this? I was like, this is a new thing. Everyone's handles rather than names. I don't know if there's probably a setting I've not done anywhere. So I'll read out names, but it's coming through as handles, not names. At FPL Scoped, very nice to see you, Gabriel, going up again soon. Well, there we go. Yes, of course, that's why I did it. Dan Weston is in. Very nice to see you. We've got Chatterbox is here. Louise B is here. George, we mentioned before. Nice to see you, mate. Is in. Liam Healy, as always, is in. Matthew Knights is here. Kingdom FC is here. Presumably, in a very good mood. I mean, I don't know if you can be well done, Chelsea Ovs. But did you watch Nottingham Forest? Well, I'm going to start with that game in a minute because.
So I don't think you can gloat that much. Because Nottingham Forest were awful, like terrible, to the point where Ange gets sacked. So let's not give Chelsea too much credit, because I weren't that impressed with them. But let's talk about them in a minute.
We'll talk about the game, because I actually don't think Forest were that bad in the first half. And then they conceded a goal, and they just mentally they'd gone.
Yeah,
mentally they'd gone.
But my point was more that I don't think Chelsea. I don't think you could go, oh, Chelsea, weren't they great?
Oh no, they got to win. What can you say? You got to win. And another red card though, by the way. It's just like if they could finish a game week with 11 men, that'd be a result.
That'd be nice, yeah.
And not only a red card, but oh my God, have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Just like.
Why?
Just why, Gusto? Why? You just do not need to make that tackle there.
It's like the 85th minute. Nothing's happening.
There's 5 minutes to go. Just don't make that tackle.
Nothing's happening.
Maybe just don't make it, Gusto. No. I don't know. Just maybe don't get sent off. Just absolutely.
You're on a yellow card. What are you doing?
What are you doing? Simon is in. Very nice to see you, Simon, who's been a member here for 43 months, Sam. He says, happy belated birthday, Sam.
Thank you,
Life begins at 40, he says. Life begins.
I've been told that a lot this week.
Simon, you've got that wrong, mate. She's actually 25. I don't know if you've noticed that. Just wanted to give a talk about Mukiele. Since owning him, benched over 30 points from Mukiele. He's a sort of player, Simon, that you will always bench, mate.
Yeah.
But he's...
A bit like me and Alderate.
Is it 17 pointer this week from Mukiele?
Yeah.
Is he on your bench side? Bloody hell.
Wish you bench boosted, eh?
Dear me. Almost half the points in my team. Who else we got? We've got, of course, Kingdom FC. We've got Patronus. We've got Mitchell. A whole host of you guys are in tonight. So welcome along to the FPL Family live stream. Like and subscribe. All that good stuff. And let's get on, Sam, with some of these games. So let's go to the fixtures here. And I do want to start... with Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea, and it was 3-0 Chelsea, and very well played indeed. Talk to me about the shambles, though, before we get into the FPL-ness of all of this. Talk to me about the shambles of, and the best word I can think of to describe it is the pantomime at Nottingham Forest at the weekend.
Is,
I mean, what has gone on there? I mean, I gave him till Christmas.
No, I said to you, I think when we were recording Ohana, that I felt like there was a good chance that he didn't even make it to the game on Saturday because the tide had massively turned. The feeling, like when you, I mean, obviously I'm in it all the time, like FPL content, listening to pressers, all that stuff, and I'm listening and I'm thinking, he's gone, his head's gone, he don't want to be there anymore.
So he turned up to his pre-match press conference.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
With he turned up like he was ready for a fight, didn't he? He turned up and it looked like he was ready to batter someone.
I'm not being funny, but if you're working for...
Marinakis.
I was going to say a chairman like that, but yeah, we'll call him out on it. I think you kind of have to be because it's like...
Why would we not call him out on it?
It's kind of fight or flight constantly, isn't it? And so, like, going into the game, I thought... And I think I said to you... during the Chelsea game,
George,
or as it was coming to
behave
an
yourself.
end,
I've spotted that comment, George. Behave yourself, please.
As it was coming to the end, what's he said?
He said Ange to be the next Liverpool manager.
Oh.
Behave yourself.
As I think the Chelsea game was coming to an end, I said, look, if he's still there next week, I fancy Semenyo as my captain against his lot. But I don't think he'll be there. We got from our house over to my brother's house for my sister-in-law, my niece's birthday, and they'd sacked him. And you think, my gosh, like, you don't... If you hire a manager like Ange, who goes completely against all of the player skill set that you have, so you've got this team of players, and you've got a manager that's completely juxtaposed to what they used to be doing and what they're good at doing. He wants them to play a different style of football entirely. Fine. If that's what you want to do as the owner of the club, fair enough. However, you have to then give the manager time to teach the players what he needs to do. Now, I'm not saying it was working. But you know what you're getting into, so you have to give him time. To sack him after, what has it been, 8 games, 9 games? To sack him after 8 or 9 games is mental, by the way. And now what's going to happen? Well, they're going to get Sean Dyche. So they're going to go from one style of manager, Nuno, to the polar opposite with Ange, and then sort of back again with Sean Dyche. But the reason he got rid of Nuno in the first place is because he didn't want to play that style of football.
He didn't play attractive enough football for Marinakis.
So you've sacked a really, really flipping good manager because he won't do what you want him to do, which is go and play Ange ball. So you get Ange and go, oh, you're crap. This is all not working. I'll sack you. I know what I'll do. We've got to avoid relegation now. I get Sean Dyche, who's basically a crap Nuno.
I just think it's an awful message to send to the fans, everything. And like Sean Dyche is, say what you want. If you like Sean Dyche in the chat, feel free to come at me. But he's a crap manager. Look at what he did at Everton. Look at what he did at Everton. Like nothing. And Moyes comes in there and overnight changes them and makes them a better team. He's a shit manager, Sean Dyche, and he's going to go in there and they'll be crap. The owner has let the club and the fans down massively. Massive. And I don't really think he's much of a manager. I don't really like his style very much. I think he just says mate, all the rest. I don't really like any of that. So I'm not Ange's biggest fan. I think that's well documented from this season and last season. But I genuinely feel for the guy here a little bit. I genuinely feel for him a little bit because he's just not been given any time or space to do anything. And actually, I listened to Planet FPL. If you're not listening to James and Sudge over on Planet FPL, you absolutely should be. Great podcast, almost like podcasts on a daily basis. They did a clash of the correspondents during the week, and it was so James and Sudge have got a couple of guys on. They've got at least one fan from each club, and this week James got Mark Southerns on, who's the Forest fan, and he got another gentleman on who's the Chelsea fan. And Mark gave a really good breakdown, game by game, of what actually has happened in the Ange Postecoglu reign. And it wasn't that he was making excuses for him, but he was saying that, in each of the game, there's kind of game state and there's different eventualities and things that happen that mean he's actually been a little bit unlucky. Like he's been missing some key players as well, right? He's also not had great
fixtures, right? He's had to play Arsenal, he's had to play Chelsea. They've been difficult games that you would expect Forest to lose, probably.
So there's all of that. And then he pointed out that actually when they played Real Betis, I think it was Betis, in Europe, and the first half of that, Mark was saying, and I remember this because I watched a bit of it, it's like the best he's watched Forest play for like years, like even under Nuno. It's like the best they've ever. It's like the best 45 minutes of football ever. And Mark was saying actually there were some signs that this team can play in a kind of attractive way that Ange wanted to. But in the Premier League, to your point, you come up against some difficult opponents, and Marinakis to storm off during the game like that. And then just fire him 18 minutes afterwards. And, apparently there's been like words in the tunnel and stuff like that. It's just...
Well, they dragged the whole team into the boardroom for like 90 minutes after the game.
It's just a pantomime. Mad. It's awful. It's awful. So to your point, forget it. In FPL, you ain't touching Forest until you see anything like an improvement. And with Bournemouth up next, you're spot on with that. I mean, you have a look at Semenyo potentially as a captaincy choice next week. It's going to be very difficult, as we'll discuss later, to go away from Erling Haaland. But there you are. Chelsea, on the other hand, though, let's talk about them because I thought this was a good result. Performance-wise, like I said just before we come into this game, Forest did, I think, play better in the first half, but a lot of that was down to mistakes. Chelsea made a lot of mistakes, got a lot of youngsters at the back, right, because they've got injuries and stuff. I know Achimpong gets the goal, but he actually made a couple of mistakes in that first half. Now, this is a young player, he's going to learn, he will improve. But for him to get his first goal... Reece James with a bit of a haul here. If you had him, if anyone's got him in FPL, I don't think too many of you will have Reece James, but it's a haul, so fair play if you have. And then Pedro Neto popping up with the third one. Listen, a good result for them. I do want your thoughts and opinion, though, on João Pedro, because we've both got him. A lot of the listeners and viewers will have João Pedro. I, for one, am getting a little bit...
Just a little bit? Because I'm getting absolutely fuming.
Are you?
I'm done.
Sunderland at home next. No. I don't think you can sell him.
I will.
Really?
Yeah. I'm done. I'm at a point where I look at him every week, and how many weeks can you allow the fixtures to dictate what you're seeing? The underlying stats aren't there. They're not. His stats are dreadful.
Do you not think he played a lot better when Guiu come on?
Yeah, but will he play Guiu next week?
He got to be looking at that game, that Forest game. He's got to be looking at that first half of that Forest game where they weren't very good and the shape wasn't good and João Pedro played in the 9. And I'm still not 100% on this narrative that João Pedro just plays better in the 10. I think he sulks a little bit when he's in the 9. I think he's a bit like, oh, will you play me in 10? He's a bit like a teenager. But when Guiu come on, give him a focal point. Not that Guiu was a threat. Really, a little bit, but just allow Pedro to play where he wanted to play. And he was better.
Disagree.
He was better.
I don't disagree, but my issue is this, Lee. They've got Champions League football to play midweek, and then they've got to play again at the weekend. And I know it's against Sunderland, but we've got to stop with this narrative that Sunderland are crap, because they're not. The newly promoted teams this year aren't crap. They're decent. There are other teams to target, like the one that they've just played. So going into the game against Sunderland, who, by the way, they kept another clean sheet this week.
Yeah,
they're defensively solid, right?
I hear you.
So we shouldn't go into it with Chelsea are just going to auto win this game. Because, by the way, I don't think that I think they probably will win the game. Don't think it's a guaranteed. And then I look at the squad. They've got to get through a midweek fixture. They've got Palmer out for another 6 weeks. That's not great news. You've got no real defence there. I know they get some back from their suspensions and all of that jazz, but the defence is makeshift. It's makeshift.
All right, I'll just about let you have that one.
And I'm looking at João Pedro and I'm thinking, he's not in the game. And I take your point about Guiu coming off the bench and him being better, but will he start Guiu at the weekend? Who knows?
But the shape looked much better. Chelsea fans, tell me if I saw this right or wrong, but I thought the shape looked much better with Guiu.
Do you think that he will start him, though? Because that's the problem. If he doesn't, then João Pedro's back in the 9 again. And he's so ineffective. At the same time that you've got João Pedro being really ineffective with no underlying numbers, there are so many forwards, Voltemada, Mateta this week, who are just showing their hands. Because even over the last few weeks when Mateta hasn't been scoring, the numbers have been there. He's had the shots. He's been really unlucky. The XG's been present.
Big XG delta for Mateta, and it's come to fruition, hasn't it?
But João Pedro, that hasn't been the case. And so for me, this is where I'm just losing the plot with João Pedro, because I've been keeping him simply because of fear of ownership.
You're going to sell him ahead of Sunderland at home then?
I think so, yeah.
For Mateta? Because you love Mateta.
No, probably for Voltemada.
For Voltemada, okay. All right.
I do love Mateta, but I fancy Voltemada. I just like the way he's playing. Plus, Crystal Palace got a difficult fixture. It's a difficult fixture coming up.
That's a nice stat from Mustafa. Thank you in the chat, Mustafa. He says, Guiu with an XG of 0.35 and João Pedro had less than 0.5. 0.5 even sounds high for João Pedro based on what I saw. Maybe you might well be right, Mustafa. So yeah, I mean, Guiu, despite me saying, a bit ineffective when he come on, helped the shape, but didn't really have much threat, racked up nearly as much XG as João Pedro, who played probably twice as many minutes.
I've got to a point where I think
you're selling him, are you? Okay, fair enough.
You shouldn't just hold players just because their ownership is high.
All right. Okay. Anything else from a Chelsea perspective that you like the look of? Estevan with another assist. I know he doesn't get the start, but I think great impact off the bench. This kid.
I think the interesting thing to talk about from a Chelsea perspective is obviously Enzo Fernandez not being in the squad for this one.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were expecting him to maybe not start, but definitely make the bench. The fact he didn't make the bench, obviously, bear in mind what we said earlier. It's Champions League week, so we will get an insight into
shouldn't we? Yeah.
Where we are with both him. Caicedo came on at half time. I thought that made a big difference. When Caicedo came off the bench, he does make a big difference.
Not off.
So I did think they really missed him in the first half as well. So maybe
starting to show, I think now Caicedo, why they played the money for him. It's taken him a little while, but yeah, they're a different side when they play, aren't they?
At the beginning of this, you said Nottingham Forest looked all right in the first half, but I think that was more to do with Chelsea's weaknesses in the first half and the fact they were missing Enzo and they didn't have Caicedo there and they didn't have a number 9 properly because João Pedro was kind of stropping around the pitch. So bring on, at half time, he makes some changes. We start to see other players come on. Chelsea look better. Forest fall apart. Yeah. That's basically the summary of that game.
All right. Okay, so you're selling João Pedro. I'm not going to, ahead of Sunderland, I'm not going to, but he's on thin ice. No doubt about it. Let's move to another game. I just need to refresh this page so that all those scores are in and locked in. There we go. Let's move to what I consider to be, certainly from the highlights that I watched, the game of the weekend. Palace 3, Bournemouth 3. We spoke about Mateta and a hat-trick, but I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. 4? He could have had 6, Mateta.
Yeah, I know, but I'm thinking particularly about that one right at the end of the game where he could have won it for them.
Oh, yeah, but before he got the hat-trick, he had 2 or 3 chances, this guy. I mean, we talked about XG deltas. We've sat here for the last couple of weeks and we've gone, well, he keeps missing chances.
Really unlucky, yeah.
And it's like, well, in my mind, that's not a reason to avoid him. Do you know what I mean? There was a bit of narrative about, well, he's being wasteful. It's like,
encourages me to want to go there.
Actually, still getting in the positions.
Definitely.
But we didn't know, either of us. We didn't.
No, because we start with
wondering. Well, I'm sort of saying, in my mind, I was like, well, why not? Well, the reason why not is because Bournemouth are great, right? And again, they showed why they're great. To go to Crystal Palace and get a win, to get a draw, is by no means a bad thing. And another teenager, Krupa Jr., pops up with 2. Super cheap he is in FPL. Semenyo on the day had got 2 assists, but I think one of those assists has been taken away now, so he's just left with the 1 assist. What do you make of this game? I mean, Daniel Munoz as well, after last weekend's double-digit haul, now pops up with 2 assists. That's one decision I massively regret, because I had him, didn't I, first few weeks, Munoz, and then got rid of him on wildcard a few weeks back for Gahey, because I just thought, well, he's getting the Defcon. He's starting to get the Defcons, Gahey.
Numbers
he's probably got the 6. Munoz isn't getting forward quite as much. I'm going to save myself a ton of money. Big regret over that one, because Munoz has done nothing but brilliance over the last couple of weeks. Great game, right? Great game.
It was a great game. It really was a great game. And it was actually a difficult game to call. I think we went into this one thinking, this is a difficult game to call. And it transpired that way, right? Semenyo continues to look great. I kind of ummed and ahed, and I know you did as well, about what to do with the defences against each other, because it always felt like there's probably goals conceded in this one.
And I'll tell you what, Senesi was... because he gets the yellow, doesn't he? And then it goes over to VAR, and he goes to look at the screen. You're like, here we go, here's a red. And he got away with it, thankfully. Got away with it.
Yes. But yeah, look, great game, great performances. Semenyo just continues to be, despite the fact he only gets 1 assist, continues to be essential. I will use the word essential.
This is fine. In my mind, he's got 2 assists, because the one that FPL have taken away. Have you seen? When you go and see the boys at FPL Towers over the next week, you need to have a word with them about this, because they've taken it away because they say that his touch was an inadvertent touch. That's why they've taken the assist away. But in the rules, it says a fantasy assist can be given for a number of things, one of which is an inadvertent touch. So they've gone against their own rules here, FPL. I don't know whether it might be reinstated again on the basis of that, but they've cocked that up massively. So just the 1 assist, by the rules, has got 2 assists. Away at Palace, listen, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Semenyo is still great, and he's a captaincy shout for next week, I think.
Yeah, he's great. You just have him. He is fine. The others, I don't have any Crystal Palace players at the minute, so whenever they play, I'm always kind of like...
Any? Interesting.
I don't have any for a couple of reasons. One, I had Munoz for a while, because the fixtures aren't great. They're very mixed, including this one. And I didn't see like a huge amount of clean sheets over the last couple of weeks and into this one, and that's been the case. We haven't had clean sheets. Obviously, they lost to Everton last week, no clean sheet. They've conceded 3 this week, but if you're going to concede but you're going to get assists, or you're going to concede but you're going to pick up Defcon, then it kind of balances itself out, doesn't
Arsenal away next in 9 for Palace, so I don't think we're rushing to any there. But after that, Brentford at home, Brighton at home, Wolves away, United at home. Yeah. 3 games at home, and the away game is Wolves in 12. 10 is looking like a Mateta pylon, isn't it? I mean, I'm in my mind, I'm giving João Pedro Sunderland at home, and then when they go to Spurs in 10, just make the switch.
Yeah, but
make it.
I'm just done with him. But at the same time,
want to do it a week early.
Well, I've got Isak as well, who I'm also not happy about. We'll talk about him in a minute. Because I didn't get to see a lot of your games, so I'll have to let you talk about that, and I'll just quietly sit here and hope you don't go too mad. So I've also got him I've also got him as an issue. So Mateta, I feel like I can wait a week on Mateta because of the fixture that they have coming up.
You can. I think you can.
Whereas João Pedro just feels like I just immediately want to sell him.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go to. Well, let's talk Bournemouth though. We've done Semenyo. Anything else you want to say about Bournemouth? I mean, have him and Senesi. I think that's just lock him in. I think. Anything else?
Well, I think the one thing I would say is if you've already bench boosted and you're looking for a change of strategy with the way that your team is set up and you want to kill off a forward slot, Krupa Jr. is not looking that bad. As a third, because I don't think there's an obvious third.
What's the Evan Nilsson diagnosis though? Is he out for a bit?
I don't really know, but Krupa's doing all right, and he's cheap, right? So that's what I mean. If you're happy to just go for a cheap,
well, so is Guillou, and Guillau's just as likely to get some minutes as Krupa Jr. at the minute, isn't he?
Is he?
I don't know.
When Enzo and that are back, is he really?
Yeah, all right. Well, let's move it on. Let's do a couple of these games from today then. Do you want to do your game or our game?
Let's get out mine. Go on.
Spurs 1, Villa 2. You were at the game. What did you think?
First half, honestly, the best performance I've seen this year under Frank. First half we were great.
Best performance you've seen this year
under Frank. Yeah, first half we came out.
Big shout.
We came out fighting, which we never do. We tend to come out quite slowly. We came out fighting. Scored the goal early on from Ben 10. Lovely, great. Yeah. Go again. We then score again, but it's offside, which I haven't seen the replay of yet, but apparently it was offside.
Yeah,
so
he
fair
was.
enough.
Yeah, he was.
I went nuts though because it's Mickey van der Ven to Mo, wasn't it? And I was like,
Van der Ven to Kudus for you. That'd have been unreal.
Honestly, to the point where I went so mad that the man behind me, who I've never met before and doesn't normally sit behind me, grabbed me and gave me a hug, and I was like,
"What?
Why are you hugging me? Who are you?" Like, not because normally there's a guy that sits behind us who I know quite well because he's got a season ticket. I was like, "Who the hell are you? And why are you hugging me?"
For Spurs to go 2-0 up and for you to get the FPL Holy Grail, which is an assist and a goal out of a single goal. Oh,
I was nuts.
Dreamland, isn't it?
I was like, we're 10 minutes in, we're 2-0 up. Mickey's assisted Kudus. This is the best day of my life. What a great end to my birthday. And then they ruled the flipping goal out, and I was like, "Oh my god, I've just gone mad for no reason."
I felt that was a bit of a turning point. I thought up until that point, yes, I thought you were fantastic.
We were great,
but I don't know about your. That's the best half of football because after that, it was. I thought we played okay.
We pushed, and I think that's the thing. So normally what we do is we have these like moments and waves. Our games are very wavy, which is working for us so far.
Wavy,
but they are very wavy because they're like we start quite slow, and then it builds up, and then we'll go all out attack for like 4 or 5 minutes, and we're really good, and then we kind of come down a bit, and it slows down, and then we go up again. It's like a bit on a roller coaster. But the first half we were really good, and we said at half time, we will regret the fact that we have not scored 2 or 3. We should have put the game to bed in the first half, and it was the same a couple of weeks ago. We didn't put the game to bed. We weren't clinical with our chances, and I know I sound like a broken record, but when I saw the team sheet, I was like, we've got a problem because Wilson and Tell can't finish their dinner.
What was the thing about Romero in the injury in the warm-up? He was
playing, then he's injured and he doesn't play. I actually don't think that made a big difference because I actually think Danzo played.
It makes a big difference for you, Romero.
Yes,
key player.
Yes, but Danzo played well. Like that, it's not like Danzo came on and made mistakes. In fact, there was one moment in the first half where Danzo really calmly dispossessed. I think it was Malin, and it was so calmly done, and we all went, bloody hell, Romero would have fouled him there, but because he just did it really calmly and it played it out. And
defensively, sure, but Romero gives you so much transition. His playing out from the back is so much more advanced than Danzo.
That is true, but I actually don't think we obviously miss him, but I don't think that was the big issue today.
Right.
The big issue today is that we didn't have anyone finishing. So the amount of great balls put in by Kudus today was unreal. The amount of balls.
He still looks like the guy.
He's down the wings.
He's still the man.
Putting in balls. Danto's got his long throws going on. We created a lot, and they didn't finish it. And the problem is that we left it late to bring on Richarlison because he's been away on international duty, and I think he's a bit knackered. And he's not in great form himself either. So he comes on. He doesn't really make a big difference. Kolo Muani came on and again didn't make a big difference. But we miss a number 9 so badly. Like Solanke coming back from injury can't happen quickly enough. Because the problem is we've got this... When we have a number 9, the creativity will pay off. I thought it was Xavi's best game for us today as well. I thought he was really good in the first half.
What were you watching?
He was really good.
Savvy.
He played really well today. He was really
Doesn't
involved.
help that Frank's playing him as a 6 half the time.
No, but that's also problematic. But I
Best
thought
game.
The
second
half.
He's at fault for the goal, for the Rodgers goal.
He was at fault for the goal.
Rodgers puts him on his arse and he sort of just like sticks a leg out. Yeah. It's like, mate, get on the weight.
He was at fault for the goal, for sure. Rodgers scores a good goal.
Be his best
That's annoying.
game.
The problem is that once Villa scored, we never really looked like scoring because nobody was finishing. So the balls keep going in, and I'm like, no one's going to finish these. There's nobody there to do it. It was kind of like going back to the time of relying on it wouldn't have surprised me if Paulinho had scored. It was one of those games. It was like Ben 10, Paulinho. It felt like it was always going to be one of them. So it was really disappointing because the first half was really good and the second half was a bit crap. And we just really need Dom Solanke to come back from injury.
All right, the Spurs fixtures, they are mixed to say the least. So Everton away next, which is tricky. And then I've got to get a bit closer to my screen. Chelsea at home, United at home. So the next 3, a couple of home games in there, but they're not easy. Then it's Arsenal away. and then Fulham at home. That's mixed, to say the least, isn't it? From an FPL perspective, are you looking to add to Mickey van der Ven and Kudus, or are you just going to stick with them for the next few?
No, I don't think I need any more. I don't think there's any more that you would have. I mean, I think Kudus is clearly the best pick at Spurs.
I think if you're going to have one, it's in, isn't it? I think by a mile, by the way, I think.
I agree. I think Kudus is clearly the best pick. I think Mickey van der Ven still remains a fine pick. I mean, honestly, today, if Kudus times that run better, Mickey van der Ven's got an assist. And then probably we're 2-0 up. That probably kills off Villa, to be honest, within 10 minutes. And then you probably get a clean sheet as well. And it looks different then.
If it comes out that Romero's out for a bit, does that change your mind on Van der Ven?
I don't really know what happened to it. I'm watching the warm-up and I still can't really tell you what happened to Romero. He was there 1 minute and then not there the other. And I'm watching it from the crowd. So I don't really know what's up with him. We'll have to wait and see what is said and done at the end of it.
Okay.
Would it put me off? I mean, it's not ideal. The fixtures aren't great. I wouldn't priority sell Van der Ven, though. I don't think he's a priority sell. I think
he's a sell if you want to sell him.
I think if it's fine if you want to sell him. I mean, it's fine. The fixtures aren't great over the next few weeks. We knew that this period of time was coming, and we kind of said that Gameweek 9 onwards was... Well, I think we said 10, because I don't think at the time we thought Everton were going to be much.
Yeah.
But we kind of said that there was this period. There's definitely a lull period for Spurs.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a priority, but I think if you want to, it's, you know.
All right. Aston Villa then, because we all sat here a few weeks ago saying, well, what's he going to do to turn it around, Unai Emery? They had 4 straight defeats, wasn't it? Or maybe a draw and 3 defeats, and it was all a bit kind of like, do they feel sorry for themselves after just missing out the Champions League last season? Are they sort of going into this season a bit lacklustre, and Watkins has kind of got iffy form and Rodgers a bit iffy? Well, I remember a few weeks ago, Unai Emery in a press conference, and they said, what have you got to do to start scoring goals? And he kind of, I remember him saying in a comment something like, we know what we've got to do. As if to say, it's under control, don't worry, I've got this. And there was something in that comment that made me think, oh, maybe. I mean, he's a top manager. Of course, he's a top manager. So maybe he does know. And bloody hell, he did, because that's now 4 wins in all competitions back to back. And Rodgers has found a bit of form away with England. He comes and gets another belter here. It's like,
yeah, but you've just made that sound like they were good. They weren't.
Okay.
They didn't play well.
All right.
Ollie Watkins was poor when he came on. Really poor. Didn't hold the ball up very well. Rodgers had a couple of moments, and his goal was excellent. Both goals, actually, that they scored, really good goals. But they came from nowhere. Both those 2 goals came from mistakes, like that we made to let them in. I just kind of watched them, and I was watching them because I was thinking they're starting to turn a corner. Maybe now's the sort of time I should be looking at a Villa asset. Where will I be looking? But there wasn't I didn't come to the end of that game and think, sometimes when you sit in the stands and you watch somebody and you do watch things slightly differently when you're in the stands to when you're at home, because you see the work differently, because obviously you see what they're doing off the ball as well as what they're doing on it.
Yes.
And I don't know, Villa, they were all right.
All right. Do you not think a fit and available Onana makes such a difference in the middle there? It allows Rodgers to go and do his thing a bit more, doesn't it?
I do think that is true. I do absolutely think that is true. And I did think Onana, he's good. He's a decent option. But
not in FPL, I don't
Not
in
FPL, no.
It's just a good player.
Yeah. But would I buy Rodgers? No.
Well, this is the reason.
Would I buy Ollie Watkins?
This is the reason you're not at the minute, I don't think, is that they are. I have them as second bottom on the Fantasy Football Scout fixture ticker for the next 5. They've got City and Liverpool up next. The most red of those fixtures is Liverpool, but I'm telling you right now that's not the case. But still, it's a tricky fixture. Then Bournemouth, which is a very tricky fixture as well. Leeds away before they go to Wolves at it's Wolves at home in 13. So
in a derby.
There's no immediate investment there in Villa, I don't think, despite this, if not corner being turned, then at least they're peeking around the corner, aren't they?
Yeah, I think we this was more. Sorry, Villa fans. I don't mean to neg on your win today. Absolutely not. But I do think that this was more about Spurs giving just Spurs mistakes than it was Villa's brilliance.
No, I don't know. I don't know if I'd say Villa were... I certainly wouldn't say they were brilliant, but I think you're doing them dirty a little bit. I thought they played pretty damn well, given they went from a goal down, could easily have been 2, were it not for a kudos boot offside, and to manage the game, to get back into that position to win it. I thought they played really, really well, actually, Villa. Brilliant. I would not go that far, but I thought they were excellent. And Buendia, I think he's 5.3 in FPL. It's potentially going a bit under the radar because...
No.
Well, have you considered Buendia over the last few weeks? And he's got, 3 goals in his last 4 or something, isn't he?
But he scores a worldie.
Okay, but he can
he's
do
not
that.
In the game
he's
otherwise.
A greedy player. He's like a Semenyo, isn't he? He loves to shot, Buendia. There, Lee.
The fixtures are poor. Okay. They're not great. They weren't great today. They really weren't. We gave them 2 goals. They took them really well. They were really good goals, but they're 2 mistakes.
All right. Okay, we will leave that one there then. I think they were all right. Let's go and do my game then so I can get this off my chest. Liverpool 1, Manchester United 2. You got any thoughts before I launch into a tirade?
Well, not really. I didn't really watch most of it because I came home just in time to watch Cody Gakpo give you a goal, and I said, "Oh, look, I've changed your luck," and then...
Yeah. Well, he could have had hat-trick Gakpo today.
He had a couple off the woodwork, I think.
Yeah, he hit the woodwork 3 times in the first half. The goal was it must have been a 0.4, 0.5 XG goal because it's a tap-in. And then he misses one, which is, I think, a 0.53 XG. I haven't actually got the scout. I should have the scout members there in front of me, shouldn't I? But I'm pretty sure he's going to be high on the XG underachievers, even though he's got the goal. The header he misses that could make it 2-2 is just a gilt-edged chance. Really, really gilt-edged. But listen, the Gakpo performance was a highlight in what was another pretty woeful performance from Liverpool, I have to say. And United fans are going to come at me. No, I've got no issue with that at all. I thought you played all right. I thought they played okay, Man United.
When I got home, there was no real defending going on for Liverpool. So was that just a we need to get something from this game, let's just go all out attack kind of thing, or was it just that because Frimpong and Kirkes were there when I got back, and they don't do any defending, them two.
Well, he put Frimpong on for Salah, didn't he? He put Frimpong in place of Salah, so he didn't have to do any defending. I don't know. I think even last season under Slot, and then obviously in previous seasons under Klopp, when substitutions are made, it's like 1 or 2 at a time, and you go, oh yeah, okay, see, that makes sense. All right, bring Maka off, you get Curtis Jones on, or you, I don't know, Bradley for Frimpong or something like that, and you think, okay, well, we've got the shape, we understand what we're doing, there's a plan. Okay, I get it, mate. That makes sense, that substitution. He did like a treble sub on the hour, and I think it was Wirtz, and it was
Ekitike,
Jones, and it was Ekitike. That was it, the 3 of them, and I'm just like, what the fuck? What's he doing?
Because in my head when he did that, I thought, oh God, that's Isak going off. But he didn't take Isak off.
And so for a while, we're like 4-2-4 in that game.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I understand. We're 1-0 down and you've got to get a goal. And he's being bold, isn't he? He's being bold to go and try and get something out of the game. I understand that. But in doing so, we lost... Any control that we had in that game was just gone. It turned into a batshit game. And Gary Neville and Carragher were on commentary, and Neville said exactly right. I don't often agree with what he said, but he said this is gonna turn into a mad game. And it did. It was like 5v5 basketball. It was no control from Liverpool. It was the least control I've seen us have for like ages in a football match. Now I know he's got to go for it, and Gakpo gets the goal, and look, for a few minutes there, at least it looked like we were the team that was going to go and get the win. And if we had done, it's a different narrative. But even at 1-1, I'm sitting there going, this can still go either way.
Yeah.
It's like Bruno was picking up the ball in midfield and there's no one near him. Now, if there's one player you don't want to give time and space to, it's Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
So you go 4-2-4. What do you need? You need that front 4 to be pressing like maniacs. And this is the thing we are missing now in this team, right? That we've had all the years under Klopp. The Mane, Firmino, Salah. Always the first line of defence was that front 3. And it was like a lot of defences and a lot of midfielders of the opposition couldn't even get past those front 3 because they pressed like mad. Mane, Diaz, Jota, bless him. I say week after week, how good was Jota at pressing? How good was he? The best in the world at pressing. Like a maniac. And Salah in his prime. And I know he's past his prime now, or not at his peak, but even just last season you could argue he was at his peak. And these guys press like mad that first line of defence.
Yeah.
So even if you get past that, then you've got to get past Maka and Szoboszlai. And even if you get past that, then you've got Gravenberch. So by the time you get to Van Dijk and Konate, those guys are just walking around calm as you like, because we've got whole midfield and forward line that are doing all the defending for them. Fast forward to now, to this season, Isak ain't pressing. He's not. And if he wants to be in this Liverpool team, he needs to learn how to press and not just be a good finisher. Gakpo is actually doing all right, I think. I think he's having a good season. But he's not a natural presser. It's not his game.
No.
He likes running in behind and he likes taking on players and he likes cutting in and shooting. Not really a pressing maniac like you'd say a Diaz or a Jota would have been in the past. And Mo, well, I mean, listen, talk about a drop-off. I mean, I just don't know what's happened to him.
No.
Not pressing. And maybe that's, maybe this is a part of Slot's plan, is not to have that press there. But go back into that narrative I've just said. Okay, so your front three aren't pressing. So now Maka and Szoboszlai look a little bit more exposed. And now Gravenberch looks a little bit more exposed. And if you can get past those guys, particularly in a 4-2-4, guess what? The back four look really exposed. And Van Dijk today and Konate, really exposed. And then if you add into the mix the fact that our two fullbacks that have been absolutely nailed on brilliant for year after year, in Robbo, who's been a club legend in my opinion, and Trent, who I always thought was special and magic. And I know that a lot of fans, Liverpool fans, don't agree with that, and they were happy to see him go and all this narrative. Not me, if you remember.
I do remember.
I said he gives you something really unique. He's a very unique footballer, and I was really, really sad to see him go, despite the circumstances. So you add in two new fullbacks as well, and then if you get past that four, you've now got a keeper who looks shaky as fuck because Alisson's the best in the world at what he does, and you've got now this guy who's, okay, he's younger.
Well, he's not Alisson.
He's not Alisson. He's not as good with his feet. He looks a little bit shaky on crosses. He's coming into the team at a time when we're not doing well. So there's extra pressure on him. So when I said at the top of the stream, there's so much wrong with Liverpool right now, I think genuinely you could go position by position and say there's a problem in every position right now, with maybe the exception of left wing because Cody Gakpo's playing quite well. That's my rant over.
Okay, so let's talk about...
And the summary is you're not getting any of them in FPL right now.
Okay, well, let's talk about Isak, because you might not be getting any of them in FPL right now, but I have Isak. And it's probably a failed experiment, this, right? But in some ways, I'm sort of happy that I've done it, because it's given me an opportunity to... At a time where I was looking at the forward line and going, who the hell do you pick?
Yeah.
I'm wildcarding, and I have no flipping clue who to pick alongside Haaland. I kind of want rid of João Pedro, but the fixtures are nice and I can't really bring myself to sell him. I want to get rid of Salah, but I don't really know if I want to go without Liverpool at all. So maybe I'll go there. I'm not sure about Gyökeres. I think I'd rather have Saka. I quite like Mateta, but the fixtures are really mixed. I'm not sure about Voltemade yet. Like 2 weeks ago, this is where we were, right? Fast forward to now, I do feel like we've got more clarity amongst that front line. So now I'm looking at Isak, but I don't know. A part of me thinks that I probably have just gone too early on him, because at some point he will come good. Liverpool will come good.
Yeah, chances today. There's one where he got through. I think Konate put him through actually. Should have scored. Hits it at the keeper, who I thought was all right, by the way. United fans, I thought this Lamans guy looks all right. Looks fine. So yeah, should have scored there. Had one or two other chances, but they ain't getting him the ball.
Yeah.
This is the difference, right? In the past, you've got a team that pressed as a team maniacally in that final third and would win the ball high up. So those that are in those front three positions get the ball in dangerous areas.
Get them a lot, yeah.
And they get turnovers high.
Yeah.
Well, this team's not doing that. This team is not doing that. So we're relying on Isak finding space or running in behind defenders, which he can do. And in time that might happen. But equally, Ekitike comes on and does all right. That's the other thing I can't really get my head around at the minute, is I know we've paid big money for him, Isak, but look at the start that Ekitike's had this season.
Yeah, but he said this week, didn't he? He said, now we can judge Isak because he's fully fit. He's ready to play 90. So when Slot comes out and says that, then it's kind of like, right, well, if that's where your head is... If you felt like up until game week 8, you haven't been able to judge him because he's not been fully match fit and he's not been ready. And this is the moment, therefore, that Isak's season kind of starts. You can see why.
Isak don't hunt it down, though.
No, but he's not that player. He's not that player.
Okay, but then we're not that team.
But that's why I wonder if you're not that team anymore. Because...
Well, that's not working out, is it?
No, I know that. But when you said earlier, like, maybe we're not doing that anymore. And in my head, I kind of went to, well, Isak's not that player. For Newcastle, he wasn't that player. He's not that player that's going out there and doing the hunting. In the same way that Darwin wasn't that player doing the hunting. That's why Darwin never really fitted into your system.
So Darwin did do it. He just didn't do it intelligently. Whereas Isak doesn't do it at all. Whereas we've had pressers in the past. Like Firmino was one of the most intelligent. Jota, most intelligent.
Yes, agreed.
Isak don't do it at all. He just walks around like he owns a place, Isak. Which one day he might. But at the minute, you've got to work to be in this team. I wouldn't be buying him in FPL.
I agree.
Not a chance.
I agree with you. He's got to work to be in the team. I agree with you on that. But equally, that is not the player you bought. You didn't buy a player with high work ethic that runs around the ball, tracking, pushing, doing all this stuff. You didn't buy Harry Kane. You bought a selfish goal-hanging player. That's what Isak is. That's why he's great at what he does, because that's what he does. So, and that's why I want him in FPL, because of what he can do in the goal mouth. Now, all the things that you've just said, though, make sense, because actually, that's why we're not seeing the performances yet from him, because we aren't seeing that. That's not what Liverpool want him to be. So okay. I guess it's a timing thing, isn't it? And what worries me a little bit with Liverpool is that eventually in the next few weeks you'll settle into a pattern and you'll work it out and you'll know what you're doing, and the players will learn what they're doing under Slot in this new style of play. Because remember that last season he didn't really have anyone new, so he was playing Klopp's system with Klopp's players. This time he's got his players and it's learning his system. So we do have to give time. But we're not that far away from AFCON now.
Yeah. So
at some point, from game week 16, we'll be losing Salah. And we're game week 9 now, right? So we're talking 7-8 weeks down the line. We're going to lose Salah. That will change the way Liverpool play again. So what concerns me a little bit with Liverpool is that we're going to learn one system only to then find that Salah goes and then there have to be a slightly different one. That's when I think Ekitike and Isak will play together. But you've got to keep them both ready and available and fit.
Which one of those is going to play right in Salah's position?
They're not, are they, is the reality. They're going to have to probably play them up top together and then play Frimpong there?
Play Frimpong there, of course you will. Yeah, of course you will. Manchester United then, talk about them, because and people in the chat are saying, Lee, you're being really salty. Yes, I am. 100% being very salty. Absolutely. We've been rubbish. I'll sit here and say, if Liverpool are great, I'll sit here and say we're great. If we're not, I'll say we're not. I'm not one of these fans that will just defend us the whole time. Manchester United, though, I thought they played well. Like, it didn't play amazing.
Okay.
They didn't need to, really. I mean, they caught us off. I mean, the first couple of minutes, I don't know what's going on there. I mean, it's a great. I'm not buying into this head injury thing. I know Maka goes down with a head injury, but listen, you still got to defend it. You still got to defend it. And then Mbeumo just like Van Dijk's got like a couple of yards on him, and then Mbeumo just runs past him, and Van Dijk almost does a little point over the shoulder as if to say, "Konate, that's your man. This guy that's just burst past me, that's you." No, Van Dijk,
that was you.
That's you. You get the afterburners on and track him back. Don't just point at Konate, who's doing his own thing over here and marking somebody else. You mark Mbeumo. Because he's quicker than you. That's why he's pointed at Konate as if to say, I'm not quick enough for this guy, you do it. No, Van Dijk, you bloody do it. And then Mbeumo took it really well, caught us off guard after 2 minutes. And then after that, there was a couple of other chances that United, I'd love to say they went 1-0 up and actually then we dominated. No. We had chances. Gakpo, Woodwork, all the rest of it. Man United had chances as well. And I think from an FPL perspective, let's have a look at their fixtures going forward. So Manchester United coming up next. It is Brighton at home, followed by Forest away, Spurs away, Everton at home, and then Crystal Palace away. So some difficult games. I think if you've got a Bruno, you've got Mbeumo, you've got these guys. Brighton at home is a fine fixture. So's Forest away, by the way. After that, Spurs, Everton, Palace. Gets a little bit trickier, but I think you keep it. I don't think there's any panic there, is there?
I didn't watch the game, so it's hard to know. But no, I mean, I think you're getting enough turnover of points, aren't you? There's a ticking over, particularly if you've got Bruno. There's a ticking over of points from Bruno pretty much weekly now.
Gets you a bonus with just one assist, didn't he, today, I think?
I do think that if you've got a defender, I'd sack off. There's no clean sheets, really. Even in those fixtures that they have coming up, Brighton, they might not be that solid defensively, but my goodness, they are still scoring goals.
They're good, Brighton. Yeah.
So I think if you've got a Man United defender, I wouldn't be that keen on that. But if you've got a Bruno or somebody like that in your team, then I think you probably hold them.
Oh yeah. When he got that assist today, Bruno, I think it bumped him up to 3 bonus. So it's just like it just shows you he's doing still all the right things to get the points and the bonus points. It just needed that assist to just flick him over the edge. It was a decent assist, right? You know, he sort of launched it back in, but it was one of them where he didn't just sort of like hoof it. It was a measured curve ball into an area where there was one Liverpool defender and 3 United attackers, and one of them was their best thread of a ball. It's just like, perfectly placed. He just very, very good, Bruno. And he was, I think Neville and Carragher on Sky were saying he was all over the pitch in the first half. It was. The work rate this guy does is absolutely unbelievable. The press is so, so good. So as a Bruno owner, I'll be holding, no doubt about it. I'll be holding. Right, let's move on from Liverpool and Manchester United. We're running rapidly out of time, Sam, so we've got, mainly because I've been whinging about Liverpool. Fulham 0, Arsenal 1. Set piece FC strikes again. Gabriel with an assist and 3 bonus points and a clean sheet. Did he get the bloody DEFCONs as well? He might have done. Listen, I just think that they look defensively so good at the minute, Arsenal. So, so good. In attack, they ain't bad either, are they? I noticed that Eze went off, I think, just about on the hour mark, having influenced the game a little bit. You've got Saka.
I can't help but feel a little bit aggrieved that Saka didn't get more. Saka got DEFCON. So
yeah, got 7 points and didn't get any returns.
So excuse me for the little mini rant I'm about to have, because I shouldn't rant, because no attacking returns and 7 points for Saka. That is not to be sniffed at. That is very nice.
What are you whinging about?
Because I kind of watched the game thinking, how has Saka not got something out of this game? Like, I know he's got...
a pen, by the way? That challenge by Kevin, do you think that was a pen?
Yeah. It's a pen.
Do you know what I would say is, because the refs give it, I don't think it's clear and obvious enough to overturn it.
So look, I'm a Spurs fan. I do not think that I think that's a penalty to Arsenal, and I'm not just saying that because I don't know if Saka's going to take it. It might have been Gyökeres
nice
that
to find
takes
out,
it.
Wouldn't it? Yeah.
So it's not me being a Saka biased owner either here. I watched the I'm like, it's a penalty. At first, I thought it was outside the box.
A little bit on the ball, though, didn't he? Just
no,
tiny touch on the ball.
At first, but that doesn't matter.
Of course it does.
No, Lee.
Of course it does.
You can't. Okay, I'll take the ball, but I'll clatter you out of the way. It's still a penalty. I'll get the ball, but I'll punch you in the face. It's still a penalty. I'll get the ball, but I'll handball it at the same time. It's still a penalty. It doesn't matter if you get the ball. If you wipe the man, it's a penalty. Now, when I watched it in real
I think
time...
it does matter if he gets the ball.
When I watched it in real time, I thought it was outside the box. So I was like, it's not a pen. It's outside the box. Then they showed it again. I was like, oh, no, it is in the box. It is in the box. That is a penalty. And we must have watched it... How many times did they show it? 8, 9, maybe 10. And every time I watched it, I was like, it's a penalty. That is a penalty. If that's not a penalty, I don't even know what penalty is now. If that's not one, I don't know what it is.
All right.
It was a penalty.
Okay, just for clarity, do you think it's a penalty?
Yes.
Do you?
So
okay,
it was a penalty. So I can't help but feel that I should have either had some assist points or some goal points from that.
Right.
And then Saka takes a great corner, lands it on Gabriel's head. Now, I'm not saying Gabriel doesn't deserve the assist, because obviously he flicks it on. So he does deserve it. But I kind of also was like, oh man, like, it's a great corner. That deserves an assist. They had some opportunities as well where he probably should have scored in his own right. I kind of feel like Saka could have had a haul in this game.
Yeah, so he's a great own. What are you whinging about?
That I didn't get a great haul because...
He got 7 points.
Lee, the point is at the moment that Saka is a differential. He is a lovely differential because everyone else has gone Gyökeres.
And he got 7 points.
I know that. But what I'm saying is he could easily have had 14, 15, 16 points.
Oh my God.
That's not greed. That's just his performance. If you don't have Saka, for God's sake, buy him. Why have you not got Saka?
Because I'm stuck here with Gyökeres, aren't I? Which, by the way, was the complete polar opposite to Saka, right? So Saka's doing all the things, isn't he? All the things to get the bonus points and the DEFCON. So despite not getting any FPL goal involvements, I don't know why I did it like that. The air quotes, it's called goal involvements. The fact he got no goal involvements still gets 7 points because he's doing all the things, isn't he?
All the right things, yeah.
Whereas Gyökeres, there was I remember watching the sort of first 35, 40 minutes of the game.
So school, would I like to watch the highlights of Spurs? No, thanks.
On your watch, is it popped up with, do you want to watch the highlights?
What are you telling me about? Do you want to watch the highlights of Spurs? No.
But with Gyökeres, I remember thinking about half hour into the game, thinking, I haven't seen him really get on the ball there at all.
No.
And Sky put up a heat map, a touch map. There was 2 touches in the first 35 minutes. I'm like, dude, you're just not involved. Now, I'm not saying that he's not a good target man for Arsenal. I'm not saying he's not good for their shape. I'm not saying he doesn't benefit the other players around him, because I think he does. But I'm not getting FPL points for benefits players around him, am I? I'm getting FPL points for goals and assists, and at the minute he's not looking anything like getting goals and assists. Well, he certainly wasn't in this game.
No.
He's a bit of a worry. In the same way, like with João Pedro, I'm getting the ump a little bit with Gyökeres as well. But one of the reasons I got him on wildcard was I thought, well, if they've got a nice few fixtures, Arsenal, and then when Isak shows up, I'll get Isak. Well, Isak ain't showing up yet. So I'm sort of stuck with Gyökeres, thinking I might actually take him down. I might go Mateta or Walter Marda.
Whereas I've got Isak, and I'm thinking, how far can I go down?
We don't want these premium strikers, do we? Except for Erling, we don't want them.
But he's on a league of his own. Just got to have him. That's the end of it. You're basically picking a 14-man squad, 13, because Semenyo and Haaland.
But we don't want Gyökeres, and we don't want Isak at the moment, do we? We don't want even João Pedro. It's just like we're going.
Walter Marda.
Yeah, we're going for these guys, aren't we? In a minute, we're going.
I don't know. Look,
Jr.
What I will say is that I was impressed by Arsenal. Again, it was a really good performance from them as a team, working together well. Everyone's got a job and they know what they're doing. And despite the fact that Gyökeres isn't looking like an FPL asset right now, he played an important role and he did what he was supposed to be doing in that system. He should be scoring goals.
Might still be on pens. We don't know.
I don't know though, because when we had this conversation on the FPL pod the other week, Kelly basically asked that question and Jules was like, Saka will take him. Because Saka's on them. Unless Saka feels he doesn't want it, and then he'll give it to somebody else. But they're Saka's. And he does tend to know what he's talking about Arsenal, but I don't know about your Chris.
Let's move it on. I think defence, just defensively, they're so good. They're just so good. And defences win titles. They've got a very, very good chance of winning the title this year, because defensively they are so good. And the one thing that was putting me off Gabriel on the wild card a few weeks back was, well, he doesn't really get near the DEFCONs. Well, now he's either getting them or he's getting near. And that makes him an absolute FPL monster, in my opinion. And he's just got to come in. He's just got to come in. I've had enough not owning him. So what else to discuss? Quick word on Mr. Haaland then in this game, City versus Everton. Much else to say outside of Erling Haaland? Or was this just a Haaland show? Because, he didn't. It's a classic Haaland performance from the highlights I saw. Not in the game. No. Not really having a lot of touches. A very Gyökeres-style performance. Except the difference with this guy is he pops up with the 2 goals, wins the game, thanks very much, on to the next. Yeah. And I don't think you could complain if you're an Everton fan. I thought Everton did okay, particularly in the first half. But it's routine now. And City seem to be churning these results out in a pretty routine way.
The problem I have with Manchester City is not... obviously not Haaland. It's picking somebody alongside him is almost impossible, because...
Well, should you?
Quite. But every week, it's someone else. Sometimes it's Savinho. Sometimes it's Doku. Sometimes it's... like this week, it was O'Reilly with the assist. Last week, it was Gvardiol. Like, there's no consistency across the rest of the team. There is with Haaland, so just have Haaland. And then the rest of them, if you want to take a punt, then fine, but you're not getting a consistency of starts. Well, he was a frustration. Going off on 59 minutes is just bloody annoying. He's not great when Rodri's not there. When Rodri's there, he's more attacking. I know. But the point is that if Rodri doesn't play, you kind of go, ugh. When Rodri does play, you go, oh, okay. We might get something out of Reinders this week. And I looked at the team sheet and thought, oh, okay, we might get something out of Reinders this week. 59th minute sub.
I don't mind holding him. There was some comments. There was some comments from Pep after the game where he was talking about. Well, I think it was in a similar vein to we discussing. It was like Erling scoring all the goals. What about the supporting cast? And he was talking about so when Pep was defining the supporting cast, he was saying about, well, Foden's playing really well, and he was. But if you've had Foden over the last few weeks in FPL,
really unlucky.
Holy smokes, you've been unlucky. Like, he gets the assist for the assist again this weekend, and there's one I think where he plays Haaland in and he misses it. It's like Foden's doing again all the things. He's pulling all the strings, and I think he's becoming quite an important player for them. But we're not talking about him in FPL because he's not getting the goal involvements. No. But I feel like something's coming for Phil. I don't know. Just he's in reasonable form. But anyway, when Pep was talking about the supporting cast, he was saying, "Oh yeah, well, Phil's playing well, and Savino's playing well, and he said Tajani's doing well as well." So, in my mind, that's Pep does see Reinders as like a part of the attacking ensemble to support Haaland. Do you know what I mean? Like he name checked him as part of the attacking crew. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I can't think of the right words, but in my mind, that I think he's an okay hold. They've got Villa away next, haven't they? Which is
they have
difficult looking game now based on the form that we're seeing from Villa. But I'm not. It doesn't feel like a priority sell to me, Reinders. He feels sort of okay to hold, I think. I think if you've got the luxury.
I also think he's cheap.
Maybe,
like,
but
as a fifth midfielder, I think he's ideal.
Okay.
He's cheap. He's involved. Yes, it's frustrating when he does this, but he won't always do that.
Okay.
I think he's fine.
Okay, and from an Everton perspective, let's check out their fixtures then. So Everton coming up next. Yes, I thought they were good. That's why I wanted to talk about them. Spurs at home, Sunderland away, which, by the way, is not as blue as perhaps the fixture ticker might suggest. Fulham at home, United away, Newcastle at home. I have them second, according to the Fantasy Football Scout fixture ticker, over the next 5. But I don't know, there's some tricky looking games in there. I fancy them at the Hill Dickinson against anybody. I think they'll give them all a game. And there's 3 there in the next 5 against Spurs, Fulham and Newcastle. Thoughts on the Tarkovskis of this world, the Grealishes? There's a few Ndiaye owners still out there. What do you make of it?
I didn't fancy Everton this week.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, no, okay, fair enough.
Because...
That's an easy call, though.
No, don't let me finish my sentence.
Okay, go on then. Because they played Man City at the Etihad. Is that the end of the sentence?
No.
All right.
Oh, would you like to take any more guesses as to how I finished my sentence?
No, go on.
I didn't fancy them this week because I think the big thing that has made a massive difference for Everton has been Jack Grealish, who obviously couldn't play against his parent club this week. And I do think that at the beginning of the season, we didn't really see the best of Everton because the attack was lacking a bit of oomph. Jack has come in, and because he's like he was at Villa, big fish, small pond. Sorry, Everton fans, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. But because he's like, I'm the man again, he's made a massive difference to the way that they're playing. He's created, the players around him are playing better. I worried about them a little bit this week without him there, because he obviously couldn't play because of the parent club thing. Ndiaye, though, do you think he's I thought he played actually all right at weekend. I thought he did all right. I don't think any of the Everton players are a sell. I think he was, what did I see on the BPS? Yeah, 20 BPS, which was top amongst Everton players, Ndiaye. So he's probably the pick of the bunch. Yes, but what I'm getting at is I think from Gameweek 9 onwards, when they've got Grealish back and available and he's not able to play because it's against Man City, they will be better again because he makes the whole thing work. They are working better because of what he's doing. He makes Ndiaye better. Everything looks better when Grealish is there. So I wasn't really shocked to see them not score in this one because Grealish has been the one that's been pulling the strings. So going into the next few weeks, when he's available again, I do think that they will look like a decent option. I think he, in particular, looks like a really nice pick over the next few weeks. If you want to go Ndiaye, sure, but I like Grealish as a pick. I really do. And I think now you've got over this fixture where we couldn't play and you don't have that hanging over you anymore, he looks like a nice option. Straight pick, would you go Grealish or Ndiaye? Grealish. Would you? Yes. I'd go Ndiaye, I think. Good for you. Pens and everything else. No, I missed this, by the way. FPL Cowboy, thank you for that comment. He says that Ndiaye hit DEFCON by half time. He did at half time. I missed that. So I think it was about 41 minutes or something. It was quick. One of the quickest we've seen yet. I think I'd have Ndiaye if I was a straight choice between the two, but don't think Grealish is a bad pick either. I would go for Grealish. Let's do one more game. Brighton 2, Newcastle 1. You've said about bidding off João Pedro and potentially getting Voltemade then.
What do you make of this game? Was this just... and by the way, this must have been a hell of a journey from Newcastle down to Brighton. That's got to be the longest one in the league, isn't it? That's the length of the country.
Newcastle to Bournemouth?
Yeah, possibly. Either way, long old journey. But Brighton, again, showing up in these games pretty well. What did you make of it? Anything to discuss from what do you think of this Voltemade? He's ticking over nicely, isn't he, if you've got him?
Ticking over really nicely, cheaper than João Pedro. I really like him. I like what he's doing.
2 bonus as well.
Yeah, I when you were talking about Bruno earlier, and you were saying, he only has to do one thing and he gets bonus points. I kind of feel like Voltemade's the same because he's involved, he's doing right things. I like him a lot.
What things is he doing though? Because it's like as when you say that about Bruno, you go, well, yeah, he's in the middle of the field, so he's the ball recoveries and his key passes and stuff. What's Voltemade doing? Is he getting hold of it, getting it down, and just laying it off? So is his pass completion rate high? What's he doing that's feeding the bonus?
His pass completion rate is good, but I think it's more to do with the fact that he is the only real Newcastle attacker. Because you've got Anthony Gordon, who since you've got him has been a bit meh.
Yeah, to say the least.
Same with Elanga when he plays, he's been a bit meh. Like the rest of the Newcastle attack, and so because they're not scoring like multiple goals, it does tend to be Voltemade who is the best scoring one. Defensively, they've been really solid. This one surprised me. I didn't really see it coming. I was really cross actually when the Pope clean sheet went. I was like, that's really annoying, because I genuinely thought there'd be one, but. Voltemade, I do want more investment in Newcastle because I do like them and the fixtures that they have coming up.
All right, well, Fulham at home up next with then West Ham, who, of course, we've got to watch against Brentford tomorrow night. We should mention that, shouldn't we? There's another game still to go.
Yes, there is.
In this game week. So, yeah, Newcastle, Fulham, West Ham, Brentford, Man City, and then Everton. So, yeah, mixed fixtures. Brighton, for them, though, again, they're now third, according to the Fantasy Football Scout fixture ticker, over the next 5 weeks. United away next, Leeds at home, Palace away, Brentford at home, and then what looks like Nottingham Forest away. So, not easy, but they're showing that they've got grit, Brighton. They can churn these, it's like... Away at Brighton, that's a fixture you just don't want at the minute, isn't it? They're just a tough old team to beat.
They are, but also they're quite a tough team to invest in from an FPL perspective. Like, I look at it and I'm like, where would you go?
Because you're not really getting well back, are you? I don't think you are. I mean, there was a bit of narrative around Minter a few weeks ago.
But then he's not really done anything. Then this week it's Ruter.
Difficult, isn't it?
Welbeck. There's not like... Again, it's another one of those teams where I'm sort of looking at it and going, yeah, okay. But who? Where? Yeah.
I think I need to watch some like extended highlights of this one to see whether Minter was, despite not getting the FPL points this week, if he's still involved, he's still doing the right things. Because I still think if you said you have to pick a Brighton player, I'd go Minter, I think, right now. He looks like the catalyst for me a lot of the time. He's the dangerous one, isn't he? But Welbeck's popped up with a couple of goals, so you cannot complain. And if you add Welbeck for whatever reason, then congrats. That is a nice one. That is a good win this week. That's it, Sam. Let's get on to our game week scores. Here's me for this week. 57 points. Yeah, below par, guys, to be honest with you. It's the third red arrow in 3 weeks. So I played the wild card. I've had 3 red arrows. It's been absolute crap, to be honest with you. And of course, we've got West Ham versus Brentford up next on Monday night. So this is going to get worse to some degree.
They're not heavily owned. It won't be that much worse. I think you'll find
Bowen and Juve, and there's a few of them that are quite well owned. I think you find. So I'm down to sort of 2.1 million. I am now like properly starting to worry. Like we could get like when we're a few weeks in, you're like, oh, okay, well, it's too early to start talking about ranks. We are in game week 9 now, like 9-10, like 2.1 million. That ain't good, is it? I'm like, how are we changing this? So I am considering. So I've got 3 free transfers for next week. I'm considering using all of them.
You've got 2 now.
Yes, because I've spent one. I've done Van der Ven to Gabriel already.
So hang on, you're considering using all 3?
Well, I might do because I've got the bench. I want to play the bench boost next week, right?
Right.
And one of the reasons I want to play the bench boost is because I like that. I've got still a couple of my Everton fixtures, so I couldn't really play it this week with Tarkowski and with Keane and Dewsbury Hall at Man City, could I? So that's a bad week to play the bench boost. But next week against Spurs at home, I don't mind it. I could play them.
Oh, really?
I could play against that.
You don't mind that, no?
Well, yeah. Based on what I saw today, I don't mind it. Especially if Romero's not there, absolutely. Goodmanson has got home to West Ham next week, so he's got an all right fixture. And then Dubravka actually coming clutch with a 9 this week. I think has got another reasonable fixture next week as well. So we'll talk about my team for next week. But for this week, for game week 8, it was Raya in with 6, Senesi in with 2, Gahey, who got an assist, in with 4, Van der Ven, thanks very much, 0, Bruno Fernandes with 8, Semenyo 4, Gordon 2, Reinders 1, Haaland 26, João Pedro 2, Gyökeres 2, and there's my bench, Dubravka with the 9, Goodmanson 1, Dewsbury Hall 2, and Tarkowski 3. So 57, all out, I'm done. I haven't got any West Ham or Brentford to play. Overall rank 2.1 million, but the tools to change things if I want to. 1.6 million in the bank, 3 free transfers, and the bench boost I think is going to be active for next week. Like I say, I have already spent that money, and I have spent one of those transfers. So Van der Ven to Gabriel is done. I've done that already. So when you look at my team for next week, I put Van der Ven third sub, but imagine that's now Gabriel, and I'll maybe stick him in the team, or I maybe leave him on the bench. Actually, doesn't matter, because I'm going to play the bench boost. So the team potentially for next week actually looks quite good. There's quite a lot of players playing at home as well, and the only team that I've got that are playing away in my first 11 are City, going away to Villa. So I've got Haaland and Reinders at Villa. I think some of the... So you've not changed Keane and Dewsbury Hall on my bench. He's got Spurs at home, isn't he, next week? Van der Ven, he will be... Is he at City next week?
No, he's at Everton. I've just not changed it. We're doing it in too much of a hurry when I got home from Spurs.
Yeah, okay. Either way, I think Gay has got Arsenal away, because I remember looking at my team for next week thinking...
He has got Arsenal, yeah.
All of my 15, he's the only one that I'd go, probably wouldn't play him. And he can still pop up with a DEFCON away at Arsenal, can't he? Because they'll be doing so much defending.
They will be doing defending.
He might get the DEFCON. So the team for next week doesn't look too bad. If I change... So I have changed Van der Ven to Gabriel. So I have my 3 Arsenal there with Raya, Gabriel and Gyökeres. João Pedro at home to Sunderland. Fine, he'll play. Semenyo and Senesi at home to Forest. Don't mind that at all. Even Gordon at home to Fulham is good. Bruno with Brighton at home, good.
So what would you do with these other 2 transfers then?
Don't know at the moment. Don't know. Obviously, we've got European games, haven't we? So
yeah.
I might not change them. At the minute, I was only looking at I want double Arsenal defence. Just got to have double Arsenal defence. I know they're up against Palace, and Palace can score a goal, right? Of course they can, but just get it done. Get double Arsenal defence and stop worrying about it. But it's the fact that my fringe players, it's the Goodmansons, it's the Dubravkas, it's the Everton players. They got half decent fixtures next week, so that's what's making me lean towards the bench boost. It was only Van der Ven having a difficult game away at Everton that I didn't like the look of. But if I change him to Gabriel, that's fine. The other 2, maybe I make some changes with Reinders and Gordon. Maybe I do something there. I don't know. Gordon's just come in and done rubbish, isn't he? But home to Fulham, not exactly it's a sort of fixture where he could do well, isn't it? He could do well. At the minute, the captaincy is on Haaland. That might change. It might change. The way that Villa have shown a little bit of form. I don't know. It's hard to go against him, isn't it? But potentially you can with Semenyo. Or maybe Bruno next week. I don't know. Semenyo's probably the one you'd go against him with, wouldn't you? Possibly.
I would, yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
If I was going to go against Haaland, it would be with it would only be Semenyo that I would really trust.
Still not sure I want to go against Haaland. Still not sure. I mean, either that first 20, 30 minutes, you did put Villa to the sword a little bit. And if that Kudus goal isn't offside, it's 2-0 after, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Could have been anything in that
20
game.
Minutes.
Couldn't it? Could have been anything. So that's my team. I think it looks well set. I haven't hit the chip yet, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to play the bench boost. And I might make some other changes around the edges with the money and the other 2 transfers that I've got in my pocket to maximise the bench boost and try and optimise my team going forward. Because I'm just sick at the minute. I'm just like 3 red arrows in a row. It's not going well at all. It's not going well. Your team, 54. Talk us through it.
It could have been so much better with that Mickey Takuda's thing sticks, then it's great. I said before I was frustrated with Pope. Had Pope in goal for his 2-pointer. Obviously Van der Ven with nothing. Timber with 6. That's decent. Senesi with 2. Maybe he's unlucky. Maybe he's really lucky to still be on the pitch. Who knows? Been red. Yeah, could have been anything.
Well, there's a covering defender. I don't know if he is, but it's fine. Yeah. When he goes over to look at the monitor, you're like, he changed his mind.
Yeah. Saka with 7, good. Reinders with 1, not so great. Kudus gets 2. Again, I'm really frustrated because he could have got so much more.
He's passing the eye test, isn't he? You're not. Yeah, you're keeping.
I'm not doing anything about him. Yeah, he's fine. Semenyo with 4, Haaland with 26, then João Pedro and Isak, where my frustrations lie. I very nearly bench boosted this week.
Would have been all right.
We haven't talked about that actually. So obviously coming. My full intention was to bench boost this week. Coming out of the international break, obviously there was the Alderete, is he injured, isn't he injured, saga that rumbled on. And on Friday, he was pictured in training, but we were sort of given a very half-assed answer on Thursday in the presser. And to be honest, this sounds terrible, but because I had my birthday party on Friday night, I just didn't want to be thinking about it. And in the end, I thought, this is going to really stress me out. And if I'm doing my bench boost, I have to do stack to somebody else because I do not want to bench boost stack, which would have been the right thing to do. But I would have gone for Caicedo, almost certainly.
Okay.
Except Caicedo took a price rise, so I couldn't afford him. So I was like, now I'm stuck. So now I don't know what to do. So now I think the best thing is to not do anything and just not hit the chip. On reflection, I should have just played it as it was because Dubravka got 9, Stack would have got 2, Alderete would have got 6, and obviously Goodmanson would have got 1. So actually, it would have been a fairly decent return. Yeah. Would have been, 18, which I appreciate that Mukili got 17 by himself. However, 18 on a bench boost in a single game week, I think I would have been quite happy with that.
Yeah.
So on reflection, I probably should have played it. Heading into next week, what am I going to do? I've now got 4 free transfers.
So you're definitely going to roll so you get 5?
Well, no. Well...
Oh, you got to get to 5. That's the holy grail, isn't it? None of us have ever got to 5.
So...
I don't think I ever will.
You will for AFCON, because they give you chances. Do you want to put my bus team up?
Oh, yeah, that's different.
So my bus team...
Oh, yeah, your bus team.
So, I mean, it looks highly different. Nothing's changed. Because... and nothing's now changed for a couple of weeks. I literally haven't moved anybody anywhere. And I'm not doing that just to make the graphics easier, I promise. But I look at my team for the week, and I'm like, okay... Is this bench boostable? I think the answer is yes. Dubravka's obviously away at Wolves. That's going to be another... And I said to you, didn't I, that I fancied Burnley in that game against Leeds. Because Burnley just do... They did it against Sunderland. They've done it against Leeds. I think they'll do it against Wolves as well. These are the games that they kind of go, we must win. And they lock in for it. I know you were talking about Goodmanson in the game against West Ham. I don't love that at all. I'm interested to watch West Ham tomorrow.
No, I'd agree. Yeah.
I don't love it. I like what Nuno's doing at West Ham. I don't love the Stack and Goodmanson picks for this week. And I certainly don't...
How do you like what Nuno's doing at West Ham? We haven't seen it yet.
We saw it last week.
And they lost.
But they looked much better.
Okay, sure.
So I think there was a big improvement there. And I do think that what we will start to see over the next couple of weeks is a really positive improvement from Nuno. Sorry, George, because obviously it's your team tomorrow. But I do expect to see something decent out of West Ham. So I'm looking at Stack and I'm looking at Goodmanson and I'm thinking you probably both need replacing if I'm going to bench boost. Maybe I'd stick with Goodmanson, but not really loving that. Mm-hmm. And then it's Alderete against Chelsea and I definitely don't like that. So whilst I don't mind playing Dubravka, I actually don't really like my bench for this week.
Okay.
So I would have to probably make 2 or 3 transfers in order to make this team bench boostable.
Which was sort of the position you were in this week, wasn't it? I remember you saying, I don't really want to do the bench boost because it's going to cost me 2 to get to the bench boost I want.
Yeah, we had that conversation on Ohano, and I said, I feel like it's a bit of a waste of 2 transfers to spend them fixing a bench that I then don't need again. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, and I'm looking at 2 4.0 defenders who I don't want. So there's not really many places you can go there. I have got some money in the bank, but it's not loads of money in the bank. So I've got 0.7. So I can get up a little bit from one of them, but not loads. I'd have to change out both of them, and I'd want to change out Stack as well, because as we talked about going into this week, he's lost his set pieces. So I think I'm probably just going to play through without a chip again.
Okay. And you're thinking transfers-wise, João Pedro to Voltemada. That's the one you want to make.
I would like to do that transfer. I guess there is a question to be had. If Brentford are terrible against West Ham tomorrow, then maybe I should look at then probably I'll give Isak another game. If Brentford play well against West Ham tomorrow, then maybe I'll think about keeping João Pedro for the Sunderland game again and go instead for Isak to Voltemade. I do fancy getting Voltemade in this week, I do. I think I can wait one more week on Mateta because I don't like the Arsenal fixture.
Mateta's this time next week.
I feel like that
game
week
10 you bring in.
You know, so maybe I'm looking at a game week 10 or 11 wild card. The problem I've got is that
wild card bench boost.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The problem I've got is that, you know, going into game week 10, it's Spurs versus Chelsea. I don't love that as a and I've got 2 Spurs. Now obviously I could sell one of them, but we all know what happens in Spurs versus Chelsea. It never ends well. I don't mind my team. So my team actually looks quite good for game week 11. So that's another one that I'm pondering on. Like maybe game week 11 feels like a nice time to bench boost because what I could use my transfers. Because the only problem I've got there is Man City versus Liverpool in 11.
Sure.
But, sorry.
I can tell you which way that game's going to go in current form.
But the reality is probably by 11 I might not even have Isak in my team anymore. And having Haaland against Liverpool really doesn't feel like too much of an issue, to be honest.
What are you doing with Isak then? Holding?
Let's see how Brentford play tomorrow. Depending upon how Brentford play tomorrow, it will probably decide who feels like the bigger issue in my team. Is it João Pedro or is it Isak? Because João Pedro has the nicer fixture, but is worse than Isak for form.
Yeah, I'll be watching Brentford closely as well, not least from set pieces, because you know, they're good from set pieces. They've got the lad that can do the throw-ins, and I mean that'll give us problems based on what I'm seeing. We will have problems from set pieces against Brentford, no doubt about it. Whether that makes any impact on Isak, different question, right? Different question. Good. All right. So the team is not looking too bad then for next week. Not looking too bad, but you are not considering the chip really, or is it you're considering? It's still in considering phase.
I feel like I just don't want to make 3 transfers just to play a bench boost. That just feels really...
Which is why I think I want to, because I can just do the one I've done and it looks pretty good.
Yours looks okay now.
I can do it.
But the problem I have with mine is I set mine up for a bench boost this week. And because of the Alderete injury and the stack dropping of all form, I was like, I've set up a team for this week's bench boost, but it don't feel right. So I'll leave it. But then it don't look right for next week either.
Aren't you going to think that most weeks though? Like Stack and Alderete. Yeah, but you're looking at them every week going, well,
yeah.
Where's the week where Stack and Alderete are both great picks?
There isn't. But when you sell João Pedro or you sell Isak, the money's available to do something about them.
Well, then you'll always need a couple of transfers to do your bench boost then.
Yes, you are right. But heading into game week 16 or the AFCON week, I'm going to get 5 anyway. I've got to use all these 5.
Oh, so I'm kind of
at a point where I'm like, well, if I don't love the fixtures this week for that bench boost, but I don't know if I want to hold Isak, then maybe the time is... I can see me going Mateta for Isak, not going into 9, but going into 10.
Into 10.
So suddenly then, loads of money... could use that in the bench boost, and then when the AFCON transfers arrive, I can whip the money back out the bench again.
Yeah. All right, well, there we go. Lots to consider over the next week or so. I'm right in saying there's European games this week, aren't I?
There is, yeah. Champions League, Europa League,
Pretty
Conference.
sure we've got to go to, or maybe we've got to play Eintracht Frankfurt, Ekatike's old team. Have I got that? Maybe I've dreamt that up. I might have. Somebody will tell me in the chat. But thank you for joining us tonight on FPL Family, guys. Well done in game week 8. Nearly in the books. If you've got any West Ham players, you've got your Bowens or your Joofs, and if you've got any... can't think of any Brentford players. Help me out here. If you've got any Thiagos or if you've got any Jordan Hendersons, then good luck to
Jordan
you guys.
Henderson. Yeah, you are going to Frankfurt.
Yeah,
we're going to Monaco. You're going to Frankfurt.
It's a pretty nice trip for the Spurs boys to get to Monaco. Very nice. Not that Frankfurt's not lovely, I'm sure. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff, guys. Well done in game week 8. We'll see you this time next week for a game week 9 review when at least one of us, I'm sure, will have bench boosted. Go on, I'm doing my outro, but go on, you want to interrupt me?
We're not here next week.
You're right, we're not here next week. That's true. We are on our holidays next week, so we won't be here next week talking about game week 9. We'll be on holiday. But we're back in a couple of weeks then. Back in a couple of weeks.
We'll still bring you Arne.
Arne will still be a thing, absolutely. So that is a very good point. So if you are missing us over the next couple of weeks, then get over to our Patreon, patreon.com/FPL Family, and go and listen to our Ohana podcast, which comes out every Thursday night, stroke Friday morning as it was this week, because it was a little bit late because of things outside of my control, let's just say. So Friday morning we had the podcast out, but usually it's out on a Thursday night. It's a game week preview. We tell you what we're thinking, our teams, our transfers, who we're thinking of captaining in the upcoming game week, with at least a day or so for you to decide going into the deadline. It's completely free. It's not behind a paywall like all the other stuff that's in Patreon. Of course, we'd love you to come and help us and support the channel with Patreon and do all the Slack and the Zooms and the competitions, all that sort of stuff. But if you don't want to do that, you can just, with your usual Patreon account, just sign up to FPL Family and for free get access to the Arne podcast every single week. So yes, of course, that podcast will be going up next Thursday and the Thursday after while we're on holiday, but we won't be here streaming next week because we're away on holiday. But Game Week 10 review that Sunday, a couple of Sundays from now, we'll be back, usual spot, right here on FPL Family. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Cheers, guys.
Bye, everybody.